Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives.
Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson, and this is our Daily Gratitude Call. Appreciate everybody being on the call today. Thank you for joining us live. We've got a bunch of people on the call live today. I'm excited to just have this number growing, and then also really grateful to you who are listening as a podcast. I'm so grateful that we have the opportunity that there is the ability for us to create a podcast. I'm glad that that's a thing, that podcasts are a thing, because then it gives this information that we're sharing here live, gives us the opportunity to share it around the world. It's amazing, the technology that we have. I think about Christ, when he came to earth, his ministry was just in like a 35-mile radius, and he walked everywhere he went, and people had to actually be in his presence to be able to hear him. And I just kind of envision that if Christ were to come to earth now, he would have a podcast. He would be speaking, he would be recording it, he would be sending it around the world, and I feel that the message that we have here on the Gratitude Call is in his name. So just super grateful for the technology that we have nowadays to be able to spread his word farther than just a 35-mile radius. And even all of you, we've got people from New York on the call today. We have people from Idaho, people that are in St. George, which is about 4 hours away from me. And we have a few people, very few people, actually, that are within 35 miles of me. So I'm just super grateful that we have this opportunity, the telephone and the podcast, to be able to reach a much greater distance. And I'm also grateful for the scheduled time that we have every single morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, to do this call. That's what we're going to focus on today. I am really grateful for some time that I've got scheduled myself for later today, and just for some personal things. I'm going to be working on an oil painting that I've been working on for about a year, and I just made the commitment. I'm going to be scheduling some time every day to get that done. And that's what we're going to focus on being grateful for today, is scheduled time. So I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds, and we're going to have a private meditation, just silent, and writing down everything that comes to you when you think of being grateful for scheduled time. So I'm going to set the timer and just have this silent meditation, writing down everything that comes to you on gratitude for scheduled time. Begin. Right. That scheduled time seems like it went really, really fast for me. I had more that I could probably write. I am really grateful for the scheduled time that we have for the gratitude call. And as I thought about the other things that I've scheduled time for, daily, things that I've been doing on a daily basis, there was a 30-day period where I, right before I launched my book, I did a Facebook Live every day, and I scheduled 11 o'clock every morning, and I had my timer set, my alarm set, so it would go off, and I forced myself to do just like a 10-minute Facebook Live every day at 11 a.m., and it was amazing to me the things that I learned as I was, focusing on the principles within my book, the 7 gateways, and with each one of the gateways, I learned so much about my own gateways, things that were not in the book, because I was doing this daily. And I feel like God has given us instruction, and, in the church we're instructed to read scriptures daily, pray daily, do these things that keep us connected to God daily. And God has given us physical representations of what He wants to do us to do spiritually. Like we eat every day. If we don't eat every day, eventually we would die if we, get to the point where we're not eating and drinking. And also I've noticed that the physical representation, the physical outcome, that, when I work with my clients, when I see that they're having experiences in their life, I know from their experiences what they're doing on a daily basis. I was talking to Mary that is on the call today and is on our call almost every day, and we were talking about how improved her life is, how much change has happened in her life over the past year or more that she's been on the gratitude call. She's been here almost every day, and how amazing the changes are in her life and what she's experiencing now. Daily, that scheduled time daily to work on yourself, to be on this gratitude call, to do your daily GPS, to, these consistency things, your scriptures, your prayer, all those things. That consistency is what creates your outcome. And it's very apparent because of your outcome what you're doing on a daily basis. There's no secrets. Who else would like to share?
There's Martha. It's interesting because as I was writing, I am grateful for the time that I spend with God, and my hand wrote, give me 10%. I was like, what? I told you give me 10% of your time and you're not giving it to me. That's where I'm weak, because I'm like Martha from the Bible. I get so caught up in so much stuff that then the time that I'm supposed to commit to God, I'm too busy being and doing for other people that I get drained, busted, and disgusted because I start doing things in my flesh. It's not in the spirit anymore. So when I do things for my flesh, then I have a tendency to get bitter, resentful, because I'm like, I'm doing all of this. It's so much. I can't do it no more. And God says, well, this is what I mean, right? So it's interesting because this is something that God has been dealing with me for quite some time, and I think that to fulfill on the call that God has in my life, giving Him 10% of my time is a must to fulfill on that commitment. So that's really what I got present to my time with God. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I love how you're talking about focusing so much time on the physical that, we get to a point where we can't do it anymore. And, comparing that to the eating and drinking, like we were talking, if we were always eating and drinking and never doing anything else, then that overindulgence is going to show up eventually, that it's too much. And wow, what an awesome commitment to give 10% of my time to God. Love it.
Yeah, and one more thing that I got present to is when you have a pitcher full of water and you start pouring the water on everybody, and then you're empty. And then I'm like, oh God, I'm so thirsty, and now I don't have any more water. And so that's kind of like what my life's been like, and that's why I have a tendency to hit bottom. I go from light to darkness. So Thank you.
Very good. So scheduling that time to receive that spiritual living water for you.
Yes.
And then you have that enough to give. Thank you. I love that.
Thank
Who
you.
else?
Thank you.
Here.
For me, Felicia, I see that it's work, and they can be spiritual work and all kinds of things, but actually scheduling time to walk with a friend, to do something creative and fun. It's like, yes, I need scheduled time for me. God wants us also to create beauty and have and feel the pleasure of that. So I'm grateful for that.
Wow, I love that. So true. Like I'm scheduling some time for creativity and fun for me today. And I love what you're saying because, like, scheduling time to walk with a friend, there's so much that can be accomplished from that. You get your physical exercise, you get social interaction. You might talk about something that solves the problems of the world. You can create some amazing things when you're talking and walking with a friend. And then also creating beauty. There have been, in fact, I'm still in the middle of this, but there are times when we have, maybe a little space in our house that we're thinking, you know what, we need to clean this out. It's getting cluttered. And you can schedule time to do that. And maybe you only schedule 10 minutes a day to work a little bit, on this closet or whatever it is. And eventually it gets cleaned out. And so you're creating beauty, and you can do that by scheduling some time. Thank you. Who else?
Okay, I'll get it. I wrote down, get it done. You give a little time to do something each day to accomplish a task we want or desire to do or to become. It reminds us of things that we said we would do in the future or promises we made to others. It helps us form new habits. We schedule time each day to change and form new habits. We train our bodies and minds to become the person that we want to become. And it helps us break old habits. That's creating new habits. But I also thought about it helps us relax our minds, reduce stress, build relationships, because I was thinking of someone that he's working 80 hours a week to work at his business, and he went to a guy and he said, how do I get all this work done? I have more work than I can accomplish. And the guy looked at him and he said, date your wife. And he said, but you don't understand. I've got all this and that to do. I don't have time to date my wife. And he said, if you want to get more work done, you date your wife. And so he found that dating his wife reduced the stress, and while he was thinking another task, his mind was actually figuring out all the problems he had. And so therefore he scheduled time each week, and that relaxing time increased. He got more work done in 40 hours than he did in 80 before.
Wow, beautiful. I can really see how that has happened in my life as well. That I feel it's, again, like Martha was saying, focusing on the physical. It's like I've got to do more. I have to do this. I have to do this, to get this done. But really, if we go to intuition and ask, what is the most important thing that I can do? A lot of times the shortcut to accomplishing that is something completely different. And you're shaking your head and you're like, how can that be? How can it be that if I go on a date with my wife that I'm actually going to accomplish more? That doesn't compute. It's not like 1 + 1 = 2. But you're right. I've seen that in my own life, that when I'm relaxed and I know that all of the areas of my life are balanced and that they're, just like scheduling time to oil paint today, that's not going to help me get my, website done or whatever. But it does because then the next time I've scheduled time to work on my website, I'm super excited to get on that because I've had my cup filled up, like Martha was saying. Thank you. Awesome. So we're going to make sure that as we go through our permission process that we make sure we ask what those shortcuts are today. And I encourage you to do that every day in your daily GPS, asking what your inspired shortcut is and trusting it and knowing that that scheduling time to do that inspired shortcut, whether it's dating your wife or doing an oil painting or cleaning out a closet or whatever it is, that it's actually going to free your mind, empty your vessel to allow you to be refilled with what is pure and with that living water that doesn't ever go away. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to our permission process. This is a great opportunity for us to do that. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath. And just be aware of maybe ways that we have been overindulging, whether that's in work or food or overspending our money or overindulging in, possibly even overindulging in something, that might be good, like exercise or something like that. Sometimes overindulgence can become an addiction if we're not keeping ourselves balanced, scheduling time for those things that are really important. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath. And as you look at this area of your life where maybe you have been overindulging, what is the limiting belief that keeps you stuck in that cycle of continually putting your time in one area and not scheduling time to do something else? What is the limiting belief that keeps you in that overindulgence? And as you look at that limiting belief, I invite you to examine the cost of it. What is the cost of having that limiting belief? If you keep that limiting belief, what is the outcome? What is the physical outcome that's going to naturally and must be produced with this limiting belief? And to realize what that outcome is that the limiting belief must produce, you have a choice right now. You can keep that limiting belief, or you can give yourself permission to choose a different belief. And if you're willing to give yourself permission to choose a different belief, then just say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 All right, and then go ahead and choose 3 new beliefs that will replace that one old limiting belief that is going to produce a different outcome for you. And as you're looking over these new beliefs, I invite you to just really look over the words and to see these as more than words, that you're not just saying the words, but that you're bringing these words into your life, into your very body, into your physical makeup, that you are leveling up, that you're creating a quantum leap for yourself today, that these words are becoming part of you and that this is who you are from this moment forward. As you move forward from this call, that you're becoming these new beliefs. Just read through those and breathe them into yourself. And as you're breathing in these new beliefs and becoming this new person, just tap into being this new person. What is the one most important thing that you could do today that will give you evidence and prove the truth of these new beliefs? What would be the one action step that you could take today? And listening intuitively, what is your inspired shortcut to becoming this person, so that if people interact with you, that they would describe you as this person that these new beliefs describe? What is your inspired shortcut? All right. We have a minute or two that we can share. I want to share mine, what I got today, because it was very profound. My limiting belief, which was super interesting, is, and where I was overindulging, was my daily routine. I have, my morning especially is very scheduled. And I don't even take my first phone call until noon, because there's, doing this gratitude call, getting it posted, making sure that I, do everything that is, just keeps me consistent in sharing with people, this gratitude call and a few other things that go along with that. And it was interesting because that was what came up for me as overindulgence, was my daily routine. It was really confusing to me because I'm like, well, it's working. It's keeping me consistent. Why is that? Like, what's the limiting belief about that? And the limiting belief was that it keeps me safe. And I was like, aha, there it is. Because I was an addiction coach for a while. Still am occasionally as my clients need it, but I used to be that exclusively an addiction coach, and one of the things that I would teach people is that addiction is an attempt to keep you safe, to get you into a safe place. People revert to their addiction when they feel unsafe, when they feel threatened, and the goal for an addicted brain is to get safe, to be safe. But what the true goal is, that's a counterfeit, because once the, experience of the addiction is past, then we're not safe anymore and we're back down into survival again. So it's like this constant cycle of survival to safe, back to survival, back to safe, back to survival, and it never ends. What we really want as human beings and true spirit beings, we want success. We want to have a strong connection to God. We want to be in alignment with our highest and best self. We want to be living purpose. We want to be fulfilled and happy. What we are really looking for is success. Safety is not success. Safety is one step above survival. And that's what I realized as I wrote my limiting belief, is that my routines keep me safe. So my new beliefs are, my systems produce success. I choose actions that must create success, and I schedule time for my success. So that was super powerful for me.
This is Martha. What I am present to and how I'm going to overcome my limited belief is standing on the word Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Because everything else that I am limited by is my flesh. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I'd like to share really, really quick because I know we're pretty much out of time. But
okay.
I have my limiting belief is I have to go in circles, and I could really. Anyways, so I have to go in circles, and that kept me safe. I mean, I get so far and I have to turn. Get so far and I have to turn. So, like the cost is I'll never break out of that circle into the new realm that I'm creating. And my new beliefs are I am moving past the old. Then it went to I am stepping into the new creation. I am brave and I am proceeding.
Awesome, thank you. And I just want to comment on that. I don't know how familiar you are, Mary, with quantum leaps, and I'm not super familiar, and I'm definitely not a physicist or, can't give you all the details. But I know that to have a quantum leap, you have to get your circle moving faster. It's sort of like if you think about a Ferris wheel or like a gerbil wheel, that's like running. You're just in this circle. But eventually, if you can get that speed going fast enough, then it flings you up to the next circle. So there's it is something about like circles and just getting that momentum going. So I love that you visualize this circle because you're on your way. You just need a little bit more speed, a little bit more momentum.
I pictured that. Thank you so much.
Awesome. You're welcome. All right. Well, we do need to end our call. I would love to have everybody share. We do have a place for you to share it in the Breakthrough with Gratitude Facebook group. So I hope you're all members of that and that you'll go and share what you got. This was really profound for me. Had no idea where scheduled time was going to go, and it was perfect. This was the perfect experience that I needed today to help me to move to my next level, to have my next quantum leap. So thank you all for joining us today. If there's anybody there that would like to connect with me for 15 minutes, go to askwilene.com, and we'll have a 15-minute conversation about your next quantum leap, what you need to be scheduling your time with to get yourself up to your next level, and maybe talk about a limiting belief that you may have about scheduling time for those types of things. Or, possibly, as I mentioned, addiction, maybe there's somebody who feels like, they're stuck in that space of overindulgence in some area or another. It doesn't have to be a traditional addiction that you think of. It might just be an addiction of self-sabotage or something like that. It could be anything. So if you would like a little bit more perspective on that, I'd be happy to discuss that with you. So for 15 minutes, doesn't cost you anything, and just go to askwilene.com. Thank you all for joining. Well, let's see, it's Friday, so we won't be here Saturday and Sunday, but we'll be back on Monday, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. I encourage you to continue your gratitude and your daily GPS throughout the weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Thanks. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Wendy. Love you guys.
Hey, thanks so much for listening, and I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.